Every grain of sand falls. Every grain of sand falls. Every grain of sand falls. They do not know. They do not realize. They are not aware that time, yes, the time is greater than their pitiful hours, mundane days, meaningless years. When you are outside of time, you do not bother yourself with measurements. Every grain of sand falls. Every grain of sand falls. Every grain of sand falls. I'm bored. The Namekian told me to wait. And why should I listen to some pathetic second-rate demon? I might not get what I want, but I can kill them anyway. An hour isn't that long. An hour feels very long. Every grain of sand. Are you listening to me? Bring my Gohan back! The annoying loudmouth woman stood over him, cross-eyed. It didn't even feel a thing, but it was about the rules. She poses no threat. Precisely. That's why she can't get away with this. You will become an egg. Buu turned his gaze and his antenna toward her, but before he launched a beam at her, he heard another scream. Wait! He recognized that voice. It was Hercule's daughter again. In the blink of an eye, the woman that dared to strike him recognized her error, as she now looked quite scared. What now? Buu wasn't talking to her. He instead decided to turn his attention toward the young girl. I'm sure that Miss Chi-Chi didn't want to offend you. We're all a little bit nervous over here. She was looking at him sternly, but the wavering of her voice was evident, though the margin just was really perceiving her. Are you taking Buu for an idiot? I am not like that fat moron. I know what she wanted. Revenge. And I am becoming bored and hungry. The second Namekian, younger one, chimed in. Well, what if we would give you some food from our pantry to help you pass the time? If you win, you're gonna eat us anyway, so... They pose no threat. They want to feed me. I could take that food anyway. I cannot let it slide. Their theory is entertaining, though. Less boring than just waiting. Fine. Bring me all your food. They did not hesitate for a second. Good. He could get used to, this environment of being served. Maybe he could keep them as his servants. Servants are fun. They pose no real threat. As for you... Buu turned his head toward Chi-Chi. Yes? The woman still looked angry, but it was clearly mixed with fear. Never do that again, or you will become an egg. He smiled slightly. Soon, he was brought what for a mere mortal would be mountains of food, but for an entity such as Buu, this was a mere snack. Still, he planned to savor this while it lasted, as he started to consume the delivered meals, whilst continuing to count the sand. This had become almost bearable. In fact, it would be hopelessly boring if not for this development. Buu enjoyed being served. Maybe keeping some of these mortals around wouldn't be such a bad idea, now would it? He could turn everyone into food. He wouldn't have to really need anyone to bring him tribute. But it was something fun, something new. Yes, something new. The margin realized that the taller Namekian had disappeared somewhere. He was hoping that he was preparing that really strong fighter that he was promised. But still, with all of those treats, he was able to pass the time and get past what Earthlings called an hour. When the last grain had fallen, he raised his head, amused. Time is up. Produce the warrior, he said. In a blink of an eye, the Namekian was there in front of him. Follow me, he nodded slowly. There was a bit more confidence, a slight glimmer of hope, perhaps. That's a foolish notion. No one had ever beaten me before. But that challenge the plump one had with Son Goku felt nice. As he walked through the corridors of the structure, Buu was getting increasingly aware that Namekian was stalling for time again. It started to get onto his nerves. You think you are clever, Green One. Or maybe I should start killing everyone to make your little fighter emerge on their own. He glared at him with his empty white eyes. We're almost there. Look. He pointed at the massive door in front of them. Your opponent is over there. All right. But if this is another trick, you will all become my dessert. No tricks, I promise. The Namekian was trying to look all tough, but Buu could sense that he was shaking internally, and it was bringing him a huge amount of joy. Once they went through the door, they could see three things. A void, a white endless void of nothingness to boot, as well as two boys. Was that it? Children? Is this the Namekian serious? They pose no threat. Do they? Majin Buu, I want to introduce the boys that are going to produce the opponent for you. The Namekian closed the door behind them. How? He tilted his massive neck. Excuse me? His guide looked surprised by this question. How are these two pipsqueaks going to produce me a worthy opponent? The Majin snarled. Hey, watch out who you're calling pipsqueak, you pink freak! The boy with the pixie cut shouted. Trunks, don't taunt him! The fight hasn't even begun! The Namekian schooled the child and then turned his head back toward Buu, before the monster decided to punish the kid for his sharp tongue and insolence. They've mastered a technique called the fusion dance. They could become a worthy opponent for you. Fusion dance. To become one. It's kind of like us. Kind of like me. There's no us. Fine. Do it. And pretty soon, they performed a rather weird dance routine which resulted in one entity. Nice to see you again, Majin Buu, the fighter said with two voices. Ah, yes, finally. So this is my opponent. Good. Shame that no one is going to witness your final, what was the word again, hour. Oh, so you can tell jokes now. Well, that seems to be an upgrade from you being a walking piece of lard. Here I come! The kid charged upon the monster and showered its face in a flurry of blows and quick attacks. But after a brief moment, Buu's expression was emotionless. He looked at his opponent with slight disappointment. Tell me when we are starting to fight, all right? He said. I hope that's not it, he thought internally. This couldn't be it. All that waiting? Maybe they were just starting. Well, they tried a lot of different attacks, and it was truly a lot. Most of them didn't work. It was amusing in its own way, but a far cry from what he was promised. He could see the Namekian losing his cool. What's the matter? Did his little scheme start to collapse right in front of his eyes? This was pathetic. He should end this all right now. He tilted his head and looked at this Gotenks, this new enemy of his. Listen, I'm getting bored, so if you want to impress me, give me your best shot. Something to keep me interested. Otherwise, you are all going to die. Make it serious. He pointed at his face. The boy closed his eyes, and his hair turned golden. Buu remembered that from the shared memories that he had with his rounder self. Come to think of it, those little brats smelled similar to Son Goku and this failed puppet of Babidi. Were they related? Yes, they had to be. Just like Hercule's daughter. They must be their sons, yes. So they are running out of adults to fight him. What an absolute... A rolling kick interrupted his train of thought as the young warrior charged and kicked his chin so hard that his neck would have snapped should he have had any bones. To their misfortune, though, he didn't. Buu didn't really have blood either, but what he did have started to boil and flow. He could actually feel that one. It didn't do a lot, but it made him come alive. His eyes gained a red glow, just as if someone had flipped a switch in his head. This caused a wide grin to emerge on his face. Yes, this might not be a waste of time after all. Now we're talking! Buu smiled insanely and started fighting himself, quickly putting the boy on the defensive. When he was sure of his victory, Gotenks had restrained his movements with a ring of pure energy. It took him a bit to break out of it. These attacks started to have some effect. To his utmost surprise, the boy started to spit out ghostly versions of himself. What even was that? That's weird, creepy even. It was hard to creep out Majin Buu, but there it was, giggling like some sort of madman. And then came another one, and another one, and another one. Explain! How is he doing that? Buu tilted his head angrily. I have no idea. The Green shook his head in disbelief, as if he too was confused with the monster. He didn't know either. Maybe this was a strong opponent after all. Calm down. What can a ghost possibly do to a Majin Buu dodged skillfully as one of the specters charged up onto him? Ha! He missed. What a fool. And then the creature exploded in a powerful blast of energy. This tore off a good chunk of Buu's body. Then a few other ghosts started doing the same, reducing him to a half-melted pile of screaming goo. Oh, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts! Buu wasted no time and went on to regenerate the damage the boy had done. For the first time, the pain was not comfortable nor fun. He himself went from excitement to slight concern, and then another ghost, and then another. Soon, Buu started to splatter into pieces. Must reform, must be intact. Again. The pieces started to crawl as Gotenks tried to evaporate them. The Majin had to think quickly and decided to go for his gaseous form, and this allowed him to get back into his original mode. "Oh no!" the boy lamented. "I'm done for!" Buu was angered, so he went straight for the grab and captured his opponent by the throat. But before he could do anything, however, he could hear an explosion. The Namekian had destroyed the door. He was stuck inside. It was a trick from the beginning. "No! You fool! What have you done?" Super Buu yelled. "Well, if we can't defeat you, we can lock you in here with us. And also, you can finish us now. But then you'll be alone. And no more candy for you." The Majin quickly dropped Gotenks and started breathing furiously as if he were having a panic attack. "No, no longer locked in. No longer contained. Not again. I have to get free." "Let me out!" Buu yelled as his scream started to resonate within the room. Something was happening to its integrity. Was he breaking the boundaries of this chamber? Soon, enough of a hole appeared, much to the shock of the Namekian that he could escape. "You tried to trick Buu! Now I eat all your friends!" he yelled to the green one as he flew through the hole, but Gotenks followed in suit, grabbing his leg and pulling his taller friend with him. He thought he was done with this annoying little fly, but something had changed. As they appeared in the outside world, and Buu tried to whip his opponent with the antenna, the boy caught it and transformed into a different state. Wait, the hair. It was just like Son Goku's was back when. Then a punch came, then another, and another. With his newly found strength, Gotenks was bouncing him around like a training bag, also taking him away from this weird place in the sky. He was no longer dominating. At this point, he started feeling that this annoying little brat was gaining the upper hand over him. No. This is not going to end like this. Buu watched as this palace in the sky was moving away from his gaze, and when he wrestled his freedom, he decided to blast it. Gotenks had to chase his projectile and deflect it onto Buu, whose body had been burnt by his own attack. The creature yelled angrily as Gotenks charged him down toward the ground and started striking him mercilessly. It was hard for him to form any coherent thoughts right now, and for a moment, it seemed that the fused warrior was going to end him. And then, he became those two pathetic little kids again, much to everyone's surprise. When it happened, Buu, who was quite shriveled up at this point, looked at them and began to laugh, understanding what had happened. "Oh, what's the matter? Has someone gone a bit too far?" The boys had an absolutely panicked expression on their faces. Now Buu could destroy them in the blink of an eye. But he was also tired. He had to regenerate. I should take a nap. Wouldn't they have fused again, though? If they could, they would have already tried that. They seemed scared. Yes, they won't be able to do something like that again. They pose no threat. With a wicked grin, Buu collapsed to the ground, snoring, just as his body started to rapidly regenerate. No one had ever broken us like this. This is vexing, but also exciting. There were memories, old ones from before the wizard, times when he felt alive. Being so close to eradication surely made him feel that. To think that this Namekian had almost locked him in. No one should ever chain Buu, not now, not ever. Once he will take this quick nap, he will quickly... What's that? What's that we're sensing? What is that what I'm sensing? Is this a new challenger? The air was trembling with power. Something new appeared. Buu opened his eyes. It was not over. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.